Thank you so much. Congratulations for the wonderful, once again, organized conference by Dr. Datan, and for all the wonderful and very interesting topics which have been presented. My topic, which regards the field of human resource management, has to do with the workplace digital empathy, and how this AI involvement in incorporation actually of the AI in the workplace can have impact on the employee well-being using artificial intelligence. It sounds strange. It was strange to me, to be honest, when I read a dissertation as an associate professor in Kingston Business School of a student from China who wanted to develop a platform where the AI could be the organizational, occupational psychologist to help the staff in organizations to feel better, and this would have impact on their performance. So here we are, we see that many organizations in many countries apply this AI platform, and my research explores to what extent really the AI can have a positive impact on employee well-being, and which are the concerns, the issues we should consider, so that to have the benefits and to minimize any risks and any negative outcomes which can take place because of the AI. Before I start, I would like to remind that all of us know that nowadays organizations play a great emphasis on employee well-being, because employee well-being is connected with employee satisfaction, employee commitment, employee productivity, and organizational performance improvement. And the employee well-being is not just an issue which is discussed or should be discussed, but it is part of the strategy of the organization. So the employee well-being plays a strategic role in organization. So from this perspective, we examine the impact of AI and how AI can facilitate employee well-being. So the main questions which regard this research work relate, as I mentioned, with the impact of AI on employee well-being, and some concerns, some issues are raised regarding authenticity, regarding surveillance, and regarding emotional boundaries in digital environment. The shift towards this technological mediation reflects broader transformations. Most of the organizations nowadays have employees who work remotely. There is a lot of digital overload, and especially these technological innovations become more and more to take place more and more after the pandemic period of time. But it seems that in some cases, some distractions are caused. The main gap is that there is a limited understanding of how employees experience these artificial intelligence emotional support systems, and how these systems impact their workplace well-being, but also their own well-being, and how these systems may relate to the performance, to appraisal. So the well-being all of a sudden might be connected because of the AI with employee performance data, employee evaluation data. The main research questions regard, first, how is empathy simulated or presented through the artificial intelligence in these workplace well-being platforms? Because this so-called digital empathy, and generally speaking, when we discuss about empathy, we have the moral-based empathy and the simulation-based empathy. We will explain this later on. The second research question is, how do employees perceive and respond to these systems? How they experience these systems, and how they feel when the systems take place in the workplace. The third question is what ethical, emotional, and organizational factors influence the acceptance of these systems by employees or cause resistance of employees to accept them. The main research objectives is first, explore how the digital empathy is technically and appropriately constructed in artificial intelligence systems, to examine the user experiences and concerns regarding these enabled emotional support systems, and third, to evaluate the broader ethical and relationship implications embedding such systems in organizational life. The methodology which took place for this study is a qualitative case study approach examining two multinational organizations, one in technology sector and one in finance sector. 20 semi-structured interviews took place with employees, HR people, team leaders, in these organizations. So it is a mixed sample. It is not only on a specific group of people, but it includes also leaders and employees from different divisions. Thematic analysis following Brown and Clark's six-phase process using NIBO software was applied as data analysis approach. And the main ethical considerations which took place regard the informed consent from participants, anonymity, confidentiality, and of course, secure data storage. The key theoretical frameworks which set, let's say, the background for this study regards the self-determination theory, which focuses on specific factors I will explain later on, the emotional labor theory, job demands resources theory, ethics of care framework, and psychological safety theories. Very briefly, to run each of them, self-determination theory by Deci and Ryan. This theory focuses mainly on autonomy, competence, and relatedness as core psychological needs that any well-being system must support. So in order to evaluate the impact of AI on employee well-being, we have to see to what extent really these applications of AI can address the autonomy, the competence, and relatedness, so that to have validity and reliability in terms of supporting employee well-being. The emotional labor theory is focused by Hochschild on issues of care, which is managed and commodified, raising questions about how really a machine, a chat box, let's say, can really serve empathy for people. To what extent can really support emotionally employees, can support the well-being of employees, because this is performed by humans. So the emotional labor theory mainly focuses on the competence, let's say, of AI to emotionally support or may not support employees. The ethics of care framework prioritizes relationship sensitivity, the issue of trust, and mutual responsibility. So what kind of relational connection can be between employees and a chat box, how sensitive the machine can be, how can be programmed to be sensitive, considering values, ethics, personal profile of people, the trust, another issue, to what extent can create circumstances where people can trust when they give their own data that this will remain only for the purpose of well-being and will not be used for another purpose by the organization. And of course, where is the responsibility of from the side of employees and from the side of the machine which represents the organization. And job demands resource model, it focuses this model, which is introduced by the Meruti and all on job resources buffer, which impact the job demands and enhance engagement and well-being. So can, for example, AI be a job source which can help employees to be engaged, and how this tool can be used. In terms now of the literature, which is about digital empathy. So what is digital empathy? What we mean by this? We mean, we refer to simulation or facilitation of empathetic interactions through technological means, using NLP or sentimental analysis, biometric data, various softwares which can be developed, perhaps considering organizational corporate characteristics in order to serve the needs of the employees. This is the digital empathy. It is electronic, it's like simulation, but can really be the moral empathy as well. There are some theoretical tensions because, as we mentioned, when we say the AI can support employee well-being, can provide feedback, we should differentiate these terms, that empathy as simulation and empathy as moral responsiveness. And this is very crucial for using appropriately AI. Relational approach theory is that there is a positive computing which considers and should consider that whatever tool is used, the center of everything should be the human factor. And ethical concerns where emotional reductionism, data privacy and surveillance and trust are issues, important, crucial issues of concern. It is not just to put the employee in the situation to express, share with the chat box the feelings, but is how this, the feedback that can receive cannot be a very simplistic, a kind of feedback which is programmed on specific typical type of answers, but to be able to go in depth, making the answer to the needs and to the issues the employee raises. Regarding the literature which is around digital empathy, it shows overall that there are both benefits and concerns regarding AI-mediated empathy, with ethical transparency to emerge as the most critical factor for successful implementation of AI as a tool, job source, let's say, impacting employee well-being. The key issues...
Just 2 minutes left.
Is AI enhanced accessibility, authenticity concerns, privacy and surveillance, cultural alignment, and ethical transparency. Regarding the AI and well-being, is the key issues regards affective computing, which is, regards how it pioneered the concept of machines recognizing and responding to human emotions, data privacy, how the emotional data becomes a form of biometric information with significant ethical implications, emotional reductionism, which there are many concerns about too much simplification of complex emotional states into binary or categorical variables, and positive computing, this design paradigm that places and should place human being at the center. The methodological limitations for this study is that there are some sample limitation because it focuses only on the banking and information industry. There are some self-reporting bias because when people answer through interviews, perhaps this interview data may introduce some social desirability bias, in particular regarding sensitive topics like surveillance and trust. There are cross-sectional design issues where answers which are given in a specific time may change in another time, so because perceptions change. And another limitation is this cultural context where there is a limited exploration of cross-cultural differences in AI acceptance and emotional expression. Regarding the main findings, we see that in the finance sector and in the tech sector, there is more in the finance sector, welcome, engagement, acceptance than in the IT sector. It makes sense because people in the IT sector trust more technology, so they welcome more anything which regards technology and AI. So we have higher acceptance of AI in tech sec than in finance sec. We have enhanced accessibility and psychological safety. So what we see, and this is very important, 78% of people reporting that AI interfaces reduce stigma around seeking mental health support, which means that people feel more comfortable to share some personal mental issues with a robot than with their first line manager because they may feel stigmatized. 65% shows increased disclosure. Participants who shared concerns with AI, they wouldn't share with human supervisors. This is very important outcome as well. And 3.5 shows engagement increase because we see here an average increase in engagement with well-being resources after AI implementation, because AI can be tailor-made, as we said, to organization needs and help people to focus on which are the specific job demands in the specific organization and help people to adjust their expectations. So on this basis, increase engagement. In terms of perceptions of authenticity, here is an issue. We see here that almost 50% of participants found that artificial intelligence interactions are somewhat authentic. Many viewed them as good for surface level support, some basic, let's say, guidelines which can be provided, but it is unable to substitute for genuine human interaction, which can help people to analyze more in depth what is going on around them, about their feelings, about their status, about their emotions. But this 50% is quite significant as finding.
Professor, you have just 10 seconds, please.
Also enhance accessibility and psychological safety, the artificial intelligence, because there is no judgment phase, it stigma and provide psychological safety. It helps to be creative for the organization when people, leaders, managers are also there. We see here as findings is that there is a supplementary support, that the digital empathy tools functions as complementary resources of what provides the organization through its people, the human factor within broader well-being ecosystems. Conditional benefits, there is improvement in self-awareness and emotional regulation aligned with job demands resources model. Trust depends on clarity. When the organization defines with clarity which are the limitations of the use of artificial intelligence, and when there is a cultural alignment, not just to be used as general software, but to be aligned with the corporate culture and with the national culture. In terms of the conclusion, is that supported tools offer meaningful benefits when implemented transparently within supportive organization culture, which means that there will be a security of data, that this data will not be shared for evaluation, appraisal. It will be only for the purpose of examining, supporting. By itself, it's not in. There has to be a hybrid approach. The HR department, the leadership, the management has to support through policy, processes, rules, regulations.
We have to close this now. Please, we are going to close this.
The well-being to contextually to consider the transparency and ethics of people, and to set the human factor center. Thank you.